What is good, y'all? It's Brian. I kind of struggled if I was going to do this because I wanted to figure out the format I was going to teach. But before I get too far into it, my name is Brian. I am a social media analyst. I do a lot of marketing strategy for small business owners, teaching them how to get visible online and use the great benefit that's out there right now. The game that's being played is on social media and leveraging social media to gain the kind of outcomes that they're looking for their business. This is not about how to become an influencer, how to become a TikTok star, TikTok celebrity, or whatever. This is real for real business owners. I have a couple of communities. One I've started with Brian Gesser from 531 Labs called The Foundry. We talk real business stuff there. If you want to learn the basics of marketing for your business, that's the place to go. We've created some tools that you can use to help identify your client avatar and things along those lines. And it works pretty well. We're really pleased with the outcomes that it's created for the business owners that have purchased it, but it's only available in our community, which is the Foundry. You should see the link in the comments. All right. So before we get into this, now let's not even do that. We're going to talk about how real businesses turn social media posts into real customers. Okay. And the core points I want to emphasize to you is business owners do not need to become influencers. I think that is a prevailing belief in a lot of circles, especially when people may or may not be as comfortable on social media. They feel like they're not equipped. Whether it's from a camera, an equipment perspective, or just a technical perspective, they don't feel like they're equipped to be able to hop on social media and leverage it to get the clients that they're looking for. And so we need to break a couple of beliefs around that. You got to understand that posting online can help people discover, understand, trust, and buy from your real business. Okay. And I think oftentimes we frame it as, well, that's just for the kids, or that's just for the younger folks. They don't, I am a 30-something year old business owner. What are they going to be tuning into my TikTok for? What are they going to be watching me on YouTube for? Okay. Real business owners, as we speak right now, are using the free stuff that's available on social media to reach the audience of the people that pay them money. Okay. And we're not talking about followers. We're not talking about AdSense. We're talking about people paying for products and services that they are selling. So we're going to talk about the main disconnect. There's a disconnect between business owners who understand how social media works for business and business owners who do not. And so hopefully, if I can get through this, by the end of this, we can bridge that gap a little bit so that people that don't really understand how it works can come armed with an understanding of how it works. But before I get too far in this, if you got questions, hello, how's it going? Thanks for jumping on. If you have questions about how you can use social media as a business owner, drop them in the chat so I can answer them live. My live streams always go better when I have people asking questions. And that's what I'm here to do. But if you don't have questions, I'll get into it. All right. So here's the main thing. Some business owners are active online and understand how content drives businesses. Other business owners don't understand the basic mechanics. They don't understand the basic mechanics yet. There's often an age divide, but it's not always, and it's not about intelligence. How do you do that, though? That's what we're getting into. So I'm going to get into a couple of the nuts and bolts of it. And there are going to be modifications for your business. Some businesses aren't able, they have regulations on them, so they can't say everything they need to say online. But even then, providing good information doesn't necessarily bring them into conflict with any regulatory requirements. So it's not about intelligence, it's not about exposure. It's not even about exposure. This is about understanding your audience and who you're gauging, who you're talking to. A lot of business owners have never really had it explained clearly. And so They hear social media and they think influencer, they think TikTok dances, they think this is just a fad thing that's moving on, dancing trends and kind of a way to kill your time. And that's not what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about real businesses using simple content. So let's get into it. We're going to be talking about contractors, realtors, trainers, restaurants, gyms, consultants, nonprofits, local service businesses. This is not about becoming famous. Okay. It's about helping people understand that you exist and what you exist for and how you can help them with what you do and how they can leverage your expertise. So here's the basic misunderstanding. Some business owners don't know the mechanics of how a post turns somebody into a customer. And when I say it like that, it sounds like a one-for-one kind of thing, but really there's a system that underpins all of this. Okay. Oftentimes they think they don't have time, they don't have the resources, they don't have the talent, they're not creative enough. They have to be on video, they got to be entertaining. We talked about being an influencer, they have to pay to post, they have to run ads first, or there has to be some kind of complicated online machine. Before we talk about strategy, let's talk about the mechanics of this. So a business owner may not understand that uploading a video to YouTube is free. And that's a real thing. There's a level of not understanding how YouTube works, like not even really not even really having an understanding of how the front end and back end of YouTube works. And it's not the business owner's fault. I don't want to blame business owners for this because it's not really apparent like that how people are able to use YouTube. They don't really make it they make it simple once you understand it, but they don't really bridge that gap to say, okay, this is what you do mechanically. You have to find that stuff on the platform yourself. Okay. And this is not your fault either. Some people don't understand the difference between posting content and running ads. And the reason why they don't understand the difference is Facebook has made it so that a boosted ad or a boosted post is an ad. And people use these things interchangeably, and it's not. The thing I always go for, and this is the pattern that I follow, when I post something on Facebook that I'm intending to make into an ad, I typically post it by itself and see how far it goes organically. That means what kind of audience it attracts without me putting any money behind it to expand my reach or anything along those lines. Once I get a gauge on that, if I'm pleased with the response, that's when I'll consider turning it into an ad. But a lot of times Facebook blurs the line between, is this a boosted post? Is this an actual ad? Because there's different ways to build ads on Facebook. Like there's multiple ways. They may not understand how a photo, caption, a video or a view or a simple explanation can lead to a message or a call or somebody interested in working with you. Okay. So this is where we're going to have to start. This is our starting point here. Okay. Posting is not the same as advertising. And I'm going off my notes here a little bit, but so forgive me. But the thing I need y'all to understand is more times than not, when you post something on your social media, no matter how big your following is, only a percentage of people are going to see what you post on social media. And this is not just limited to business stuff. This is your friends and family. These are your personal posts. Specifically on Facebook, they kind of determine who is in your audience for the content stuff that you post. They base it on who engages with it, who likes it, who shares it, who saves it. And more times than not, that's how they predetermine who your audience is for any post that you make. Okay. So you can have a big, huge following of people, and some of them are potential clients. Others are just people that you know. More times than not, Facebook will determine who gets to see your content based on how they've engaged and what type of content they've engaged with from you previously. And that's not always a great thing, because I know a lot of people who only use platforms like Facebook and Instagram to connect with friends and family, and they are 100% interested in narrowly what their friends and family are up to and things along those lines. And they don't make it easy for you just to see their stuff. They play a game where they determine well, is this person really interested in this kind of content or are they not? And that's the game that's played. It's weird. Um, it doesn't make for a great user experience in a lot of times, but that's the reality of what you're dealing with. Um, Oftentimes on Facebook, and these other platforms, I'm just using Facebook narrowly because that's the one that I do a lot of my marketing on. Um, but I know a lot of times on Facebook specifically, they kind of cultivate your audience for you, and your stuff doesn't get shown to the people that you want to see it. So there's that. All right, back to my notes. So posting is not the same as advertising. Okay. Posting content and paying for ads are two different things. Now, you can establish a good strategy of, like I said, posting content, posting things about your business, posting you working, posting showing how things get done behind the scenes, you explaining what your processes are, you answering questions that your clients normally come to you with. You can make posts doing that. Um, and build a great audience and not spend a dime. you can you can cultivate an audience if your content is dialed into that point. You can cultivate a pretty tremendous audience just posting stuff and not spending any money on running ads. Okay, posting just means putting something on platform. That's all it is. Advertising means paying the platform to show the post to more people. Okay, posting means putting something on a platform. Advertising means paying the platform to show that post to more people. Okay. They've integrated the two terms and merged them, and that's not exactly the best outcomes for business owners out here. Because when we start using these terms interchangeably, what it turns into is really, really super confusing for people that aren't familiar with how these things work. And I think part of it, I do think there's a part of it where it is intentional on the platform's choice to obfuscate a little bit, or make it confusing. Sorry, I have a tendency to use those $10 words. So, but they try to make it confusing, so that people spend more money trying to get the outcomes they're looking for on these posts, and it doesn't really benefit you because what they want to do. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Um, what typically what like a platform like Facebook wants to do is they want to make it very simple, very plug and play for you to say, "Hey, this post is doing well. I'm gonna turn it into an ad," and they want you to be able to click, 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 click a button, and it just handles all the thinking for you. And they're getting better at making it so that you can automatically do it, but typically that's not the best way to pay attention to how your money's being spent on platform. And so they've disconnected you from setting budgets and all that other stuff, and they want to make it as expedient as possible. They want to make it as easy as possible for you to take a post and turn it into an ad. And that's not always the most beneficial for business owners out there. There are going to be times where you've worked and your Facebook pixel is dialed in so much that it knows exactly what your website traffic looks like. It knows exactly what audience buys from you and what audience converts from you, and it will automatically go out and search those people out and show it to them with a minimal amount of you doing things on your Facebook and dialing your audience in. For new business owners who've never done this before, if you don't know if you have a Facebook pixel, let's start there. If you don't know you have a Facebook pixel, then this kind of applies. They want to make it as easy as possible so you spend as much money as possible up front. Now, if you're going to play the advertising game on social media, it's a money game. You're going to have to put money into the machine to get it to start creating the kind of audience you want. But that should not be your first step. And I think oftentimes people see that as the first step. So I got a little bit ahead of myself, but let's get back to the outline here. Okay. So advertising means paying the platform to show your post to more people. You can post before you ever pay for ads. To be honest with you, organic content can create business opportunities that paid ads oftentimes do not, because organic content is designed to go to the people that engage with your stuff. Paid ads are interruption for a lot of people's scrolling experience. And there's already a level of frustration when you're scrolling or you're watching a video and then all of a sudden your ad pops up midstream of something that they're enjoying. Instantly, that can get you off on the wrong foot with a potential client. And so paid ads or interruption-based marketing, they can be incredibly effective, but they can also turn off clients faster than anything else. So you need to be really mindful of that when you're first starting out. And that's why I'm a big proponent of using organic stuff. Post it out there, see what the audience is, and go that way before you start trying to boost posts and do all the other stuff. Okay. And that's why I say paid ads, they can help later, but they're not the starting point. You want to build a great organic audience, because the other side is, and I don't have the numbers specifically in front of me, but I've quoted it enough that I should have it memorized. From an engagement standpoint, that means people taking time to look at your stuff. From an engagement standpoint, stuff that looks like it's user generated, stuff that looks like you shot it yourself and you don't have an expensive camera crew behind you, converts and engages better than stuff that looks like a very polished commercial, because nobody ever wants to see your commercial as a business owner. And this is a hard lesson. I shoot video for people, and it's hard for me to say it, but nobody ever really wants to see your commercial. They're not dying to see your commercial. Okay. They're not on Facebook scrolling through like, man, what I really need to do is see a commercial for this insurance company. They don't really want to see it. Okay. They want content. They would engage with content with the insurance agent explaining how home insurance works. They'd watch that. But or what their process is when they are onboarding a new client. They pay, they will want to see that, but they really don't want to see a commercial talking about how great you are. Wipe your mouth and mustache. Okay. Just a once over. Okay. So anyway. Okay. Thanks. I think I just got played online, but that's all right. That's all right. That's all right. All right. I'm assuming that you're looking out for me. Thank you. Anyway, people think that the ads are the things that trap people in. And I'm gonna tell you, we have an entire from a generational standpoint, somebody who grew up in the 90s, and how commercials used to be on television. My kids do not watch commercials at all. If it looks like a commercial, they're going to keep going. And that is becoming kind of the thing for everybody. People literally pay for streaming services. They'll pay up a tier for streaming services, not to not see commercials at all, because they've kind of removed that option, but to see less commercials. People will pay more money to see less commercials. Okay. So organic content can still create business opportunities. Paid ads help later, but they're not the starting point for every business. And a business owner can start by showing what they do, and telling people what to do next. That's it. You don't have to buy an ad to start communicating online. You could take a picture of a completed job, write a simple caption, and post it and tell people how to reach you, and you're creating content. It's that simple. Show the change that we got to look out. All right, man. I appreciate you. Wow. All right. I appreciate it. So you could take, like I said, as long as you're showing the transformation that you've introduced into somebody's world, that's content in of itself. It could be just a still picture of a completed job that you've done. And just tell people what you did and tell them how to reach you. That's it. That's content. It's dead simple. It doesn't have to be anything that challenging or that level of complicated. It can be very, very simple. That's not influencer behavior. Influencer behavior is something different. This is just public business communication. Okay. So here are the actual mechanics behind it. And I'm skipping through a couple of bullet points that I've written out. I spent a long time on this one. But this is how content turns into business. Okay. So we're going to post, we're going to get visibility. There's understanding, get trust. There's action, conversion, or conversation. Sorry. Conversation, and then a sale. Okay. So the first thing is you post something online. It could be a photo, it could be a video, it could be a written post, it could be a before and after, flyer, review, a customer question, behind the scenes update. Um, I lean hard. I like the completed job where you're showing the quality of your work. Okay. It could be a short explanation, it could be a story. You could talk about the story behind a Google, behind your Google business profile update. Okay. The next step is somebody sees the thing. Okay. They may see it on any social media platform that's out there. Okay. I'm not going to read off every single one of those. Um, Understanding is the next part. They learn something. They understand what you do, who you help, who you are, oftentimes, what problem you solve, why the problem matters, and what your process looks like. This is a big, huge opportunity that a lot of business owners leave on the table. Um, just just explaining what your process looks like can be tremendously valuable to somebody who is kind of on the fence about calling you or shooting you an email. If they know exactly what your process looks like, so when they step in and start engaging with you as a business owner, it's a level of familiarity. It doesn't feel they don't feel like they're lost or anything along those lines. Okay. What makes you different, or what they should do next in engagement. I'm also big about you answering a question for them that they can solve on their own. Okay. Trust. This is where they start believing you know what you're doing. Okay. Trust comes from seeing your work, hearing your explanation, hearing that you know what you're talking about. Social proof is good. Um, Google reviews, Facebook reviews, even Yelp reviews can be social proof, but also pictures of your completed job is social proof. Seeing consistency, seeing that you have standards, um, seeing real examples that of what you do, which is kind of redundant, and seeing you understand their specific problem. These are the things that help build trust with people. Okay. And so now next is action. This is what we normally call the CTA. This is the call to action. Okay. This is why you often see posts that end up saying, if you're interested in this, shoot me a message or reply with blank in the message. And we can set up a chat or anything along those lines. Got a couple of this. Yo, what's up? I'm in your stream. What's up? Hi, how's it going? God bless you. God bless you too. If you want to, you can. Um, so this is where they take a step. A call to action is basically sounds what it looks like. You're telling them what action to take to start engaging with you, whether it's a call, whether it's an email. Again, the one you see a lot on Instagram is message this and comment with this specific word. And we'll reach out to you. And typically that is automated robot that looks for that specific word and then either forwards you to a conversation with them or takes you through the next step or sends you to a landing page or whatever, or sends you an offer. Sometimes they'll send you an offer directly. Okay. But they can call, message, comment, book, visit, request a quote, fill out a form, all that stuff. Okay. Now, the thing that we're missing. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Hopefully this is useful and people can find some utility in this because that's really what I want to do. Okay. This is the conversation. Now, this is where the business owner does follow up. And I think that's the piece that is getting missed oftentimes um, in these, especially with a lot of these online, marketing experts or whatnot, the marketing gurus. Um, it's not a lot spent on the conversation, but the conversation is everything. You still got to talk to people. You still have to be able to engage your clients. And I think selling the fantasy of completely online interaction, um, it sounds good, but more times than not, you still have to have some kind of level of conversation. Okay. All right. So this is the follow up. Answer the question. This is you book the call, you send the quote, you schedule a consultative visit, a diagnostic visit where you actually are sitting down and looking at what their problems are. This is typically where I would send like an audit of your social media platforms, and start, figuring out how we can get this better. Okay. The sale is the dirty word. Everybody hates the sale. This is where the conversation becomes business. Okay. This is kind of your conversion. A post does not magically make money. A post helps the right person notice you, understand you, and trust you, and take the next step. And there are business owners that have maximized, um, their audiences on Facebook and maximize their audiences on YouTube, um, to get this result, where they just show up, share their expertise, share what they know. And as a result, they are able to get, um, the outcomes they're looking for. They're able to get business, they're able to get clients who are willing to pay them money. They're getting people that want to take further conversations with them, just by showing up and answering questions and providing value. I know it sounds cliche. Everybody says providing value, but it really is a thing. Okay. That's why when I do these live streams, I'm always like, ask me questions, ask me questions. I want to demonstrate my value to you guys. I've had clients where I've said, I'll work with you for a little bit to demonstrate my value. And at the end of that engagement, we can decide if it's going to work in terms of, something you want to take me on, you want me to take you on as a client. Like, I've done that. That's why I ask people to ask me questions on live streams all the time regarding marketing and stuff, because, um, I want you to ask me to get value from me. Okay. Money happens when that next step turns into an actual action next, where, um, the conversation, appointment, quote, visit, or sale. That's where this is this is where the money starts happening, is when we start getting conversational quotement, conversation, appointment, and quote, and stuff like that. That's when we start getting into the money talk. Okay. So I'll give you a quick formula. Um, Business content can be simple. Okay. And so we'll give you a quick framework to use. And this is one I kind of came up with today because I had a bunch of different frameworks that I use, but I do this a lot. And so I need to give you guys something that is plug and play for you. Okay. Okay. And so the framework, write this down, please. Show it, explain it, invite an action, and then follow up. Okay. So show it, show people what you do. Okay. And the examples I got is a finished job, product or service, demonstrate your product or service, a free training session, um, show one of your training sessions, show a customer result, show you working behind the scenes. Before and after, you got to be careful with the before and after, because social media platforms, especially if you're in weight loss, they will ding you for that. So you got to be mindful that your before and after, specifically if it's in fitness or in weight loss or anything with the physique, um, that's kind of a landmine you have to tiptoe around. But there are ways to do it. Okay. And a problem that you solved. Okay. So those are the things that you can show it with. Part two, explain it. Tell people what they were looking at and why it matters. Don't just post a picture. Give some context behind the picture. What was the problem? What did you fix? Why does it matter? What should people know? What mistake should they avoid? This is a huge opportunity for business owners who if your value proposition is you aren't like the people that rip people off, then you can take that opportunity to show how you aren't like the people that rip people off, about how you do business differently, how you do it more personably. Okay. This is a huge opportunity for a lot of service based business. What sets you apart from other people? Um, okay. Next, we're going to invite action. So tell people what to do next. And this is something that I cannot stress enough. I've seen people make incredible posts. They're engaging, they're informational, they're factual, and then that's it. There's no follow up. You don't tell them what to do next. There's no call to action. You're not telling them, we looking like, okay. Um, Love you, man. Thanks. What you're doing is you're not telling them what to do next. I've seen posts on social media where they are very informational, where I would, if I was in the market for that thing, I would have taken the next step to reach out and try to seek an engagement with this person. But since they didn't tell me how to reach them, and there's a dead link, the link in the bio is dead, you know, or the email bounces or something along those lines, there's no way to follow up with them. And so this is great information that I got in kind of a fishbowl. There's nothing else I can do with this information. So the next step is always invite some kind of action. Tell them what you want to do next. Um, Even from designing websites, from just an optimization standpoint, pages that have a clear call to action and make it easier for the person to take the next step are going to see more conversion. If people land on your website and they don't know how to buy from you, they will click off and they may never come back. Okay. So you want to be very transparent about what your call to action is. My call to action is, if you're interested in working with me, and you're serious about it, I do have an email that I'll give you guys so that you can reach out and we can sit down and talk about your product or service. All right. The email, if I can find it on here, the email is mail@isellwords.net, or you can actually contact me at bsellswords. So you shoot me an email at that message. We can set up a time and we can talk about how we can get your business a little bit more visible. And I'll start walking you through a little bit of my process. All right. That's my call to action. If you want to engage with me, shoot me an email. I'll probably post a link for my school community so that we can do some direct booking if you're interested in that as well. Let's get back to business here. Okay. So you tell people what to do next. Click here to schedule, call this number. Okay. Comment this in the chat or in the feed. And then you have an automated follow-up system. Follow-up. Do not let the lead sit. I have like 3 leads I need to follow up with today. And so that's what I'm going to do after I take my daughter to practice. Come home and follow up with my leads. Okay. So you still have to answer the phone call, answer the phone call, return the message, send them a quote, confirm an appointment, give the next step, close the loop. Understand this. It can be very frustrating. It can be heartbreaking when you put all this effort into engaging a client and they're hesitant or they kind of say no. Just understand, no right now does not mean no forever. I've had clients reach out to me after an initial, hey, this isn't the right time, reach out to me 3 or 4 years later to still want to work with me. So understand that not everybody is in the position to make a purchase decision immediately. Please understand this. Oftentimes when people post content, they don't get an immediate response from something they post. They think that the whole game is rigged. Okay. I've had videos that I could have sworn that nobody watched. People will come up to me and talk about them. Okay. And it happens in public. And I don't have a big audience. I got a really, really, really small audience. Like I'm a micro audience. But I've had people come up and talk to me about videos that I will assure that nobody had seen. So not everybody that sees your stuff is going to be immediately in an engagement mode or immediately wanting to buy from you. You got to understand, content just starts the path. Follow up turns that path into business. And I've had clients where it wasn't the right time, but I kept reaching out to them, keep engaging them, keep sending them things that are relevant to what their interests are, relevant to their business, and it turned into a client. Okay. I need to stress this more than anything else. I'm talking to my webcam right now. I have my other camera sitting right here. I'm a video guy. Your content doesn't have to be video. Video is useful. It is really useful for content, but it's not exclusive. Okay. Content can be, again, photos of completed jobs, photos of people working, before and after posts, well-written explanations. Customer frequently asked questions is a huge opportunity that people are missing. Reviews is another opportunity that people are missing. Okay. Simple tips, stories, carousels, short posts, live streams, voiceovers. There's a whole world of different types of content that you could be posting. Looks like we got comments in the chat. ESG, are you a furry? Okay, so maybe I don't have it. No, I'm not. And so short posts, live streams, like there's a whole email newsletters is one that I've gotten amazing results from with not a lot of ton of effort. Just keeping people engaged, telling them what we're doing, telling them we're up to, posting offers that may relate to what they're interested in. Email newsletters are a great way to keep clients engaged. You don't have to be in front of video. You don't have to be in front of a camera posting videos. A lot of business owners stop themselves because they think content means video. Video is one tool. Okay. It's not the whole game. You could take a picture of your work and explain what people are looking at, and you could start making content. I'm dead simple, dead serious about that. It doesn't have to be that complex. The owner doesn't always have to be the face of the business. And I'm blasting through my points here because I got a couple of things I got to do, but the owner doesn't have to be the face of the business. That's another belief we got to break. Okay. I talk to people that are my age all the time, and they normally have kids that are in their kind of teens or whatnot, and their kids may be more into the video side of things. They may have a worker at their business or an employee or even a spouse who really likes the camera and likes engaging with clients and stuff like that. You don't have to be the face of your business. You just need to have your hands on the steering wheel at all times. Okay. But if you feel like people can represent your business or interest really, really well, let them. Allow them to. Okay. The business needs communication. That doesn't mean the owner has to be on camera every single day. Okay. I just need y'all to understand this. Okay. Content can be built around the owner doing the thing. It can be built around a staff member. It can be built around the work itself. It can be built around the customer experience. It can be built around the finished result. Okay. I'm big about showing processes. I love when business owners show how they do things. I will sit and watch somebody rebuild an engine on YouTube just to unwind. It may not be something I'm interested in at the time, but it's something that I'm getting a chance to see how they work. Okay. And the question that people ask all the time, that is your easiest low hanging fruit of content. What is the question that your clients ask you all the time? That is low hanging fruit. Okay. So the question isn't, do I want to be on camera? The question is, what is the best way to show people what this business does and why they should trust it? Please write that down. If you're looking for something to write down out of this, write that down. What is the best way to show people what this business does and why they should trust you? Why they should trust it. Okay. So I'm gonna give you a couple of examples, and I gotta get to getting. So we're gonna talk about a couple of different businesses. So we're gonna talk about like the contractor. So we could talk about a contractor. They post a photo of a finished deck repair. Okay. They explain what was wrong with the deck, what they fixed, why it mattered, and what homeowners should look for. You've just created content. Okay. The homeowner sees it and thinks, I got that same issue on my deck. And they message for a quote. The contractor follows up. It turns into a job. You didn't have to make a video. All you have to do is take a picture of the work that you've already, share a picture of what you already done. The path to that is photo, explain, concern, message, quote, sale. Okay. A realtor, the content, a realtor posts 3 things to check before falling in love with the house. I wish I had this when we bought our first house. They explain how old, pay attention to the roof age, pay attention to drainage, foundation, whether your foundation is good, what signs to look for, bad renovation shortcuts. Okay. The customer path is the customer sees it and thinks this person is trying to protect me, not just sell me stuff. Okay. They book a call. That turns into a client. And so the path is you give them a tip to establish trust. They call, and then you get a commission from the client. All right. Restaurant example. So the content the restaurant could post. Restaurant posts today's lunch special. Post this. A restaurant posts today's lunch special. Okay. They show the food, the price, the time, how to order, and where to get it. Okay. The customer path. Someone nearby sees it before lunch and then they come in. The post created a real visit. Are you guys picking up on this? So the food photo got them hungry. It kind of like it made their mouth water. They visit, and then that visit turned into a sale. Okay. Gym example. A gym post why most people quit after 3 weeks. They explain the plan is too hard. There is no coaching. People do not know what progress should feel like. And they need a better starting point. The customer path sees themselves in your post. They book a trial to see if you're any different. That trial turns into a membership if they got a great experience from working with you. Okay. The pathway is you told the problem. There was some identification that went on. You established trust. You established a trial. You gave them a trial member, and then it turned into a full-blown membership. Basketball training example. This one falls into one of my businesses. A trainer posts, more games do not automatically make a better player. Explanation. They explain games expose habits. Training builds habits. Players need skill work. They need footwork. Players need decision-making opportunities so that they can learn at slow speed and then figure out how to do it in game speed. The customer path is a parent reads this and thinks, my kid actually needs this. They message about training. This turns into enrollment. Path. You shift the belief. You break the belief. You get parents' trust. They send you a message. We book an evaluation. That evaluation turns into an enrollment. Okay. I got a couple of more of these that I'm going to run down, then I'm going to get out of here. Okay. So from a consultant example, the content, a consultant post, you do not need more content ideas. You need content lanes. That sounds familiar. All right. They explain random posting is the problem. I've done this video before. They explain random posting is a problem. The business needs repeatable topics. Content should support sales, and the business needs structure. The customer path is a business owner recognizes what their problem is with posting content. They ask to book the audit. This turns into the paid offer. Okay. So we gave the client clarity. We established trust. We offered the audit so they could actually see the problem for themselves. And then gave them an offer, and then the offer converted into a sale. Okay. This is what this means. This is not complicated at the starting level. Okay. It's not. It really isn't. And I don't want it to feel like it's over, I don't want to feel like it's overwhelming at the beginning. Okay. Because the reality of the situation is, y'all, anybody can do this. Any business owner can create content that drives business to their business. The biggest challenge oftentimes is figuring out what to post and getting through those first couple of posts where they don't really do anything, because that can be dispiriting. That can break your spirit. Okay. I'm not even going to front. It can really break your spirit when your clients don't engage with you off the rip. Okay. It can feel challenging. It can feel like people are ignoring you. It can feel like you're wasting your time. Okay. And so I don't want you to lose steam with it. All right. So that being said, it is time for me to run my daughter to practice. So I'm going to run her to practice. If you're interested in this, I will be back to finish up this conversation. I do appreciate y'all jumping on. So this is part 1. I'll put a pin in this and come back to it. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.